classic. Some places can only be described as classic, real cool. And did you hear? The Southern 500's back, Jack. At the Lady in Black, a place dear to race fans' hearts. A history of NASCAR is the history of Darlington. Born in 1950, it's part of racing's roots. As much as things change, this lady stays the same. Wild, wicked, and moody. She's still got attitude. Some crazy cats have smoothed Darlington's pavement and come away with the black and white. And while you'll never actually tame the place, you can get real friendly if you're lucky. But you gotta stay cool, real cool. You dig? Some places are just classic. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot, is next on Speed. Now that's cool.
Today, the Darlington Raceway celebrates 60 years of NASCAR racing. One of the toughest ladies anywhere, drivers have developed a love-hate relationship with her over the course of 105 races. Back in the day, it was the scene of the first ever NASCAR race run on asphalt, and since, she has hosted a 75-car field. The surface has changed, but the idea has remained the same. Today's Darlington is still a driver's racetrack, and perhaps the main driver to watch is Kyle Busch. He's the defending race winner and the most recent winner in Sprint Cup racing. It is back, ladies and gentlemen, the Southern 500, a name that means racing at a track that defines it. Get on your feet. It's race day in Darlington. Welcome, everybody, to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. I'm John Roberts. He's Jimmy Spencer. He is Kenna Wallace, driver of the number 28 Nationwide car, and it is hot in Darlington, but no matter what comes out of tonight's race, the Southern 500 is back.
Yeah, hey, listen, it is so hot. It is so humid that usually I try to get up out of the chair. Look, it's so hot, my buttocks is stuck to this chair. Look, I can't get out of my chair. Now, hold on, I'm not done yet, race fans. It is so hot. It is so hot that they are gonna rename this race. Instead of the Southern 500, it's the Southern Fried 500. Thank you, Spence.
Okay, so we got the point. It's hot.
Let me
tell you, but that's just like the Labor Day races, though. The Labor Day races were hot.
We're at Darlington. You know, the thing about the last 4 or 5 weeks, think back, we have seen some great races. Well, you know, this place they call it the Lady in Black. You know what I call it? The Hag in Black. And I'm going to tell you why. There'll be more drivers needing Tums and headache powders and everything under the sun after tonight. This is the toughest racetrack. Let me repeat myself. This is the toughest racetrack the drivers will face this year. Darlington, and I love her, and she's the Southern 500.
Yes.
And if you saw those old school red and white stripes on the wall, take a good look at them, because as soon as we start racing, they're going to be gone. They're going to be covered in black from Goodyear tires that are going to rub up against the Lady in Black. Let's now go down to the lady on our crew. It's Wendy Venturini with the Shell Garage Report. But Wendy, we understand you have ventured out of the garage.
Yes, I'm on the racetrack near the start-finish line, and you guys were talking about that paint. The red and white stripes, the retro Darlington paint scheme is back. And of course, it's been painted since yesterday's practice session. The Darlington race is now the Southern 500. Of course, last year we were at 400 miles. They have returned back to its roots. The oldest 500-mile race back to the Southern 500 with the retro paint scheme. It's a great day here in Darlington. It's so great, it's even a little bit hot for us today. The weather, oh boy, it's only 85, a little bit breezy right now, but we have high temps in the 90s. That's been the topic of discussion in the garage area. This is such a physically demanding racetrack. We are worried about drivers and the physical demands by them today. Now, talk about the start-finish line. We've had some of the greatest finishes in NASCAR right here at this start-finish line. Remember back in 2003 between Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch? Since we had that electronic timing and scoring, 2 1,000ths of a second separated the winner, Ricky Craven. The closest finish in history here at Darlington Raceway. We expect to see much of the same finish right here later on today. But for more on the racetrack surface, let's head over to Hermie Sadler in turn 1.
Well, thank you, Wendy. In this racetrack, every time we come to Darlington, the talk is always about the pavement, the asphalt. But in years past, it's been the pavement is rough on tires. It wears the tires out. There's no grip. We're slipping and sliding around. Well, the pavement is a story again, but this time it's because of the grip it has. It's because of the speed it has. A brand new track qualifying record in qualifying yesterday by Matt Kenseth. These cars will enter turn 1 tonight in excess of 180 miles an hour. And you say, wow, we got plenty of room. A lot of pavement out here, but your raceable space is from here to there. That's it. Right here is where you got to be at the bottom of this racetrack. And just look back to yesterday. These guys, the best drivers in the world, had trouble on this racetrack by themselves. David Strimmy around into the wall, backup car. David Strimmy around, backup car. And something we hardly ever see, 3-time champion Jimmy Johnson in qualifying off turn 2 into the wall, into a backup car. And JR, when these guys start having trouble by themselves on a racetrack, can you imagine what it's going to be like when they drop the rag on 43 of the hungriest drivers in the world that want to win the new old Southern 500?
Hermie, thanks a lot. Simply not much real estate out there for 43 race cars, so there's going to be some beating and banging. And we understand that there's going to be a NASCAR press conference this afternoon at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Breaking news out of NASCAR. We do not know what it's about, but we will keep you up to date as we find out. But 6 o'clock, expect an announcement from NASCAR. Now let's take a look at the championship standings. Jeff Gordon is back on top again. And guess what? He's the guy who has the most wins at this racetrack with 7.
Yeah, you know, here's Kurt Busch not having the night he needed last week, but how about Tony Stewart? Both of his cars in the top 5, Kenny, and only 39 points out.
And Kyle Busch was going to win his 51st race last night. Had a right rear flat with just 3 laps to go.
Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Burton 6th and 7th, and Clint Boyer not running the way he started out the season, but still in championship form.
Yeah, and the guy I want to talk about, Ryan Newman. Kenny, it wasn't long ago we were talking about Ryan Newman. He was, what, 32nd, 30th, 28th. Now, all at once, he's in the top 10.
And that is 2 Stuart Haas teams that are in the top 10 as well.
And Mark the Kid Martin, 15th spot. Mark Martin said this week, I am going to race all next year for the championship.
And Matt Kenseth is off to one heck of a start with a record-breaking qualifying run as well as a Nationwide Series win.
Now, you got to look at this, guys. Here's Brian Vickers, Casey King, Dale Earnhardt Jr., the surprise of the year, Marcus Ambrose, and Casey Mears. But you know what, Johnny? These guys, we're looking at 8 guys there going for the top 12. We already have the top 12. Do you realize how tough this is going to be when we come back into Richmond? Holy cow. Kenny, only 12 of that top 20 right now, and then there's how many other guys still striving to try to get in. This is a story already.
And you know, we've had this race for the chase now for so many years. I just want to remind everybody that it is so much fun to not always look at the guy in first and second. It's all about being in the top 12. So, Spence, we're going to be paying attention to this 12th spot. It's been going in and out, in and out. Casey Kane's out of the top 12 now. Who will be back in? Ryan Newman's back in the top 12. We don't know who it's going to be.
Well, all I can say is you need to stay tuned to this race tonight because of this reason. This track was built for speeds of 80 or 90 mile an hour. Surely not 180.
What?
Exactly. And that's what you're going to see these cars go around at that speed tonight. It's going to be very exciting under the lights here on a Saturday night as the Southern 500 is back. Stay tuned. NASCAR press conference is coming your way at 6 o'clock. But coming up next, Juan Pablo Montoya and Joey Logano.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.com/spring. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Advance Auto Parts. Keep the wheels turning. And by the Harley-Davidson Super Ride. Take the ride of your life today.
You can join your fellow fans online now during NASCAR Race Day. Fire off your questions, comments, or talk smack. SpeedTV.com editors and NASCAR insiders will fill you in on what's really going on. Tune to SpeedTV.com now and just look for the chat link. Well, a lot of people talk about Juan Pablo Montoya no matter where he's raced, and he has a tendency to raise an eyebrow or two. He's only raced twice on this racetrack without the best of results, but as we have found out over the past couple of weeks, anybody can win on any given Saturday night or Sunday. Let's now go inside the racetrack and join Wendy Venturini.
Well, thank you, Johnny. The drivers' meeting is just getting ready to get started. Juan Pablo Montoya coming off a great finish last week at Richmond. What can we do with your team to get you keep going because you're right on that brink of that top 12 of points?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think everybody, the Target team and the organizers have done an amazing job. We're getting better every week. It's incredible. We've been having the last few weeks have been pretty tough for us in practice, and somehow, somewhere, we managed to get good results, and we got to keep the ball rolling. I think we need to be a little bit faster to be able to get comfortably into the top 12. But, we're there, and I think we can challenge for it.
They call this a driver's racetrack. What do you think of this racetrack? How tough is it, challenging physically or mentally demanding here at Darlington?
It's funny because they always talk about, the driver's tracks and this and that. If you got a good car, you look good. If you got a bad car, you look bad. I've raced in a lot of things, and it doesn't matter what you're racing. If your car feels good and drives good, you're going to look really good.
So how does your car look? Good or bad?
Hopefully really good. We made a lot of changes from yesterday because I wasn't looking too good yesterday. So I'm pretty pumped up. Today I'm running a helmet that was painted by a kid, at the, with the Target house, and it's the 10th anniversary. So it's a big deal. I was involved with them before, going to St. Jude and visiting some kids, and being here on the 10th anniversary is huge.
Yeah, and of course that's the Target House, which are for the families, for the children that attend St. Jude's Children's Hospital, sporting that cool paint scheme. The All-Star Race, 7 days away. You have to be voted in. So what do you think? Are you trying to rally the troops to vote for Juan Pablo Montoya?
I would rather just race my way in, I think it's going to be a good practice for us for the 600, really work on our cars and learn a lot, and I think more track time we get, the better it'll be.
All right, good luck to Juan Pablo Montoya. He is headed in to the drivers' meeting. Now, we do want to bring you some exclusive news here right on NASCAR Race Day, and that is some of the top 10 results from the Sprint fan vote going on for the Sprint All-Star Race. For that showdown, who can be voted in? The top 10 drivers, check it out. They're alphabetical, not by how many votes they have received so far. There are your top 10 votes. Now, the top 10 are only separated by 8,000, and the top 2 guys on that list, we can't tell you the order, but there's less than 4,000 votes that separate those guys. And if you check out the stickers that Sprint's handing out, I did vote, and I can't say. I'm not telling you who I voted for. It's a secret. You'll have to wait, and we'll see if my driver gets voted in. Let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, Wendy. Another driver in that top 10 looking for votes is Joey Logano. Joey, now I've seen some of your Home Depot commercials. You've got a little bit of a head start with the fan base, all these Home Depot employees. Are you going to rally those folks around and try to get you in that All-Star race if you're not able to win tonight?
Oh yeah, we're going to try like get the Home Depot associates behind us and any other fans we can. That's going to be real big to be in that All-Star race. And the 20 team itself has won a race last year, so they deserve to be in the race. So we're going to try to win here tonight, or get there in the open there. But we'll try like heck and see what we can do. Hopefully the fans help us though.
And if I look down the list of racetracks for a rookie driver to get this best qualifying run of the season, I'm not sure I'd pick Darlington. You surprise some people, but it's got to be a big confidence boost for you and your team. Starting up front here is very important.
Yeah, it's huge, really. And you look at our practice speeds to where we qualify was a huge pickup. So, I think just looking back, getting out of the car and looking at where you're getting beat and talking to Kyle and trying to figure out everything I can do to make myself a better race car driver around this place. And, and the team working real hard and kind of put it all together and had a good qualifying run. So I think our car in race trim was better than it was in qualifying trim. At least it was in practice. So hopefully we can stay up there and get a good solid run in tonight.
And how many times so far this week have you heard from either Greg Zipadelli? I know you took some laps with Cale Yarborough a couple weeks ago. How many times have you heard race the racetrack?
That's all I hear. Race the racetrack. That's the biggest thing. And timing the cars when you pass them, lap traffic or something like that. When you catch them is the real big deal. I figured that out a lot last night in the nationwide races. You can get it behind the car that's a second slower than you, and if you catch them in the wrong spot in the racetrack, you're stuck there. You're a second slower the whole lap. So, I feel like I learned a lot there. Still got more to learn today, but I feel like I got a good Home Depot Toyota today.
Well, he's got 500 miles. He did make some laps here a couple of weeks ago with Cale Yarborough, who will also be on the show later on today, but he is in the top 10 in votes, and he's got a lot of people behind him trying to get him in this All-Star race. JR?
Hermie, he might be a good guy for the fantasy picks. Well, that's later on in the show. Let me tell you how you get involved in this Sprint fan vote. And because this Sprint All-Star race is all about the fans, you have a chance to vote one driver in. And remember what happened last year? You voted Casey Kane in, and he ended up winning the whole thing. Hey. Fans may vote by visiting sprint.com/speed at a participating Sprint retail store or at the Sprint experience at the racetrack. Sprint customers receive double credit for each wireless vote submitted from their Sprint device. Text NASCAR to 7777 to download NASCAR's Sprint Cup mobile to cast a vote. And Jimmy Spencer, that includes you.
What's double credit?
2 times 2.
So every time I vote, wow.
Who are you voting for?
I'm not telling you. I'm texting it now.
Spencer's
hey,
the only guy I know that has a rotary
Sprint
dial on his cell phone.
No, Sprint got me. They showed me how to use these push buttons and text.
It's just the 7, Jimmy. It's just the 7.
I got to tell you, there's a lot of great race car drivers, but I think I'm going to vote in somebody that's very good to me. I'm going to vote in Michael Waltrip, and you know why I'm voting for Michael Waltrip? Because he let me drive his race car a lot, and I've made the Daytona 500. So,
hey, but if we vote on this, we get 2 votes for him.
Didn't do it, you got to get 2 votes.
Sprint next time.
All right, you guys keep working on that.
Michael Waltrip.
All right, if you agree with Kenny, you can vote for Mikey Waltrip. If you don't, you can vote for your own favorite driver. But as Wendy mentioned, it's a knockdown, drag-out fight. Very close, 4,000 votes separate the 2 top vote getters. When we get back, we'll continue to get you ready to go racing on the Lady in Black. Welcome back to Darlington on a hot Saturday afternoon. We're getting ready for an even hotter night under the lights. And at this time last year, Kyle Busch was making only his 4th start on this racetrack. But out of those 4 starts, he has 2 top 10 finishes, including a win that sent him on a tear of NASCAR's top series.
They've repainted in the overnight hours beautiful, pristine white. It will never last. Just about every one of these cars will have a Darlington stripe.
Toughest people are going to survive, so you got to stay strong, okay?
We're going to have some fun tonight here at Darlington. Here they come down the line. Green is in the air.
You're only a couple tenths off there. You'd run a 2850s, I think, is what you were running there.
Grandstands come to their feet as Dale Earnhardt Jr. takes the racer, coming trouble. William Sadler, Tony Stewart, tangle in turn number 2.
Stay low, come on to the bottom. All clear, good job. Oh yeah, these cars are great, wonderful. Love them to death.
Kyle Busch, one of those drivers that will get on top of the wheel, but Greg Biffle will do the same thing.
And tighter, Irwin. Tighter, gotcha.
Trouble turn 2, Greg Biffle gets tagged and he saves it. He got bumped from behind by Kyle Busch.
I don't know what happened to the brakes, but these things feel like super speedway brakes. I can't stop at all. Be smooth here, bud. No pressure. I think the 18's having some brake problems. Just be patient. And go get those 2. Get by those guys and you'll be a lot faster. Like I say, these guys must suck ahead of us, because it's the tightest I've been all night. Really hurt rear grids, guys. It really hurts the rear grids, and it turns worse. All right, 10-4. Keep plugging away. Wasn't much of a change, but we'll go back on it and do something better.
Kyle Busch has put that car in the wall. Oh, man, he has really been slinging it in there.
Got to turn better, but I got to have the track bar down. I'm losing too much rear side bite late exit. Settle in, man. Find that rhythm again. Feels like it's coming loose, Erwin. Damn it, guys. You're going to have to learn when it comes loose. You got to stay on it for a long time. That's a good spot if he wants to finish. We need to finish. Don't need to worry about him. Be patient. Tight. We're going game race to get the lead, and I get it taken away every time. Your position is to drive. Just stay calm.
He'll be in the news this week for winning at Darlington Raceway. Kyle Busch gets the victory.
I can't tell you how proud of you guys I am. I appreciate all the hard work, everything you guys do. Awesome job, dude.
The foundation of Darlington Raceway was built on the dreams of one man, and those dreams have evolved into a racing legacy that has spanned 6 decades. Darlington was NASCAR's original super speedway, and to take a look back at the birth of this incredible racetrack, we have called on our good friend Ken Squire to tell us how the tradition of the track Too Tough to Tame got started.
Everybody said Harold Brasington was crazy. He acted normal most of the time, but bring up racing, and he took a serious turn. 1933, when he traipsed up to the greatest spectacle in sport, the Indy 500, that's where the trouble began. Driving back to South Carolina, that's when he had the epiphany. What was needed was an Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a 500-mile race and 200,000 visitors for his hometown, Darlington, South Carolina. He could picture the start, 3 racers in a row, and row upon row of racing thunder, the 4 precisely banked turns, the 2.5 miles of pavement dedicated to danger and blazing speed. However, dreams of the 30s ended abruptly, tucked away for a nation's sacrifice that was World War II. Come that day when what is termed our best and brightest hit the home shore, Harold Brasington was right back after his dream, rustling up money, finding a place to build, and wouldn't you know, a neighbor set the whole crazy idea in motion, telling Harold to go ahead and use his farm on Old Hartsville Road. Harold's dream of a Southern 500 to rival Indy took shape. There were variations. The 2.5 miles of pavement, for space reasons, became a mile, and around a quarter. The 4 turns became 2 giant sweeping ends. And then there was the minnow pond. The land provider was adamant his minnow pond would fit right in where it existed or else. So, rather than building a detour around the minnow pond, one end of the track was dramatically redesigned, like the small end of an egg, and the other end blossomed out like a hot air balloon. 1950 Labor Day, there it was, perhaps the most imperfect paved speedway ever devised by man. The cars were not those Indy types, but that new revelation, stock cars, Detroit iron, that Bill France and his NASCAR Renegades brought to the party. And Bill France was only too happy to help Harold out with all the subtleties of marketing and promotion. Now listen to this. Bill learned that an Indianapolis 500 personality was available. The only request of the star was a car. The press was informed that France himself and fellow entrepreneur Elvin Hawkins were carefully preparing in secret a brand new 1950 Plymouth in which Indianapolis great Johnny Madman Mance would challenge the NASCAR elite. What a story. What a joke. Mance qualified slowest in the 75-car field. Now it was race day. A full house, curious as much to see if those cars could actually run 500 miles on pavement like they operated on Carolina red clay. And here they came, 3 abreast, just like the 33 starters at Indy these days, except there were 75. Over the next 6 hours, fans saw the darndest collection of bursting tires, busted fences, and general mayhem with which NASCAR had yet been involved. The tires and tubes, as Hank Williams used to say, were doing fine, but the air was showing through. Tire problems? Oh, you bet. Meanwhile, wily Mr. Mance, according to Cotton Knowles, had strapped on some special fancy Firestone tires that wore like iron, leftovers from a 2,000-mile Mexican road race. While most were taking a lot of time in the pits, Mance dawdled along in the slow line down on the bottom of the track, ducking the destroy as they spiraled into the infield. So you get the picture. It's the old Aesop's fable. The turtle beats all the bunnies by a mile. Well, actually 9 miles. What did it all prove? Well, first, that Harold Brasington was not quite as crazy as many assumed. Even before the race was over, Darlington was a name to be reckoned with in motorsports. Harold had created a track with all kinds of quirks and imperfections like none before or since. And it was the perfect track to test this new form of motorsports. To win at Darlington took guile and courage and homegrown smarts. So if you want to see what stock car racing was and can be today, come to Darlington for the Southern 500. They take pride in treating their visitors with a sense of old-time, homemade, Howard Brasington hospitality. Unless you get caught poaching in the minnow pond.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stowe, Vermont's Ken Squire. No one quite like him and no place quite like Darlington, South Carolina. And that Johnny Mance, well, Ken said it. He was a wily old veteran that came in and snaked it out from underneath all of the stock car drivers.
And what's interesting about Johnny Mance, you hear about Talladega, the first-time winners. Well, Johnny Mance raced here. He was the first-time winner, and that's the only race he ever won. Also, another history fact about Darlington, you go to all these racetracks, 11 different manufacturers won at this racetrack, and that's what's special about Darlington, the Southern 500. I'm so glad NASCAR brought this back. It's special.
Very special night tonight. You know, as we race tonight here at Darlington, it's not going to always be 4 tires on the pit road. You're going to have some definite jockeying in the pits. For position on the racetrack, it's going to be key. And when we come back, we'll meet some of the unsung heroes that make sure their drivers get out of the pits quickly at Darlington and all year long.
There's no place like it, which means earning your wings here also means earning your Darlington stripe. We'll show you the best way to keep your fender intact at the Lady in Black. Straight ahead, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
My All-Star win is probably one of the biggest races I've ever won.
Casey Kane, he's leading this thing. Wouldn't it be something if the fan vote car went to victory lane?
I was running as hard as I had to, and I was still, pulling away, and I had a good bit more in the car. There was no chance of them beating me.
Casey Kane, the fan favorite, wins the Sprint All-Star race.
It's hard to win races, so every time you win a race, it takes off so much pressure and relief and all that. I'd say that was as big as probably any race that I've ever won.
Last year, Casey Kane showed us that anything can and will happen during the All-Star event. Next week, we have special programming starting Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Time all week long. It's all All-Star all the time. And you can also check out the Advanced Auto Parts Virtual Cutaway Car online, and every week, Hermie Sadler gets his hands on with the real thing. This week, we got something unique for you. Hermie brought some friends along, lots of them, and they're going to show us a highlight of one important part of All-Star Week, and that is the Pit Crew Challenge, which happens on Thursday night on Speed. It's brought to you by Sprint, and here comes Hermie Sadler.
Well, thank you, JR. And the Sprint, the Crew Challenge on Thursday night, a big event during All-Star Week, a time for the crews to shine. I brought along all my buddies from the #2 car of Kurt Busch, led by Trent Cherry. You guys practice a lot, and unfortunately, the crew guys don't always get recognition until they mess up. But this competition is a great time for your guys to shine.
Yeah, these guys, every Sunday, they're one of the top teams out there, and they practice hard. And we've been practicing probably 4 or 5 weeks at the shop, and we got a good facility. We got a lot of cars set up, so we pretty much mimicked the whole deal. So these guys are ready, and hopefully they'll get a first-round bye in the top 8, and then we'll see where it happens from there.
And you guys won the event a couple years ago. How much different is it to train for that event as far as the Pit Crew Challenge event as opposed to a normal pit stop like these guys will do here in a couple hours?
Well, the only difference is, we go through, like, you have the competitions on a Thursday, then you got the qualifying stops on a Friday, you got another race on a Saturday, and you got 600 the next Sunday. So it's a big deal. You can't give up too much of your practice time for, real conditions, but at the same time, these guys are competitive, they want to do well, and pushing the car and all that's a big aspect of the competition, and we make it a focus and a priority to practice it, so hopefully they'll do well.
We're going to walk back here and introduce you, fans at home, to some of the guys that will be performing these pit duties for the 2 car on pit road. First, Chris Williams, the gas man. Now, your job is important on every pit stop. With that Pit Crew Challenge, they need you to get behind that car and do some pushing in a hurry.
Yeah, they need the biggest guys to the car first, and I'll be the first one, the second one there next to the jack man. Between he and I, we're pushing about 500 pounds, so we'll get it rolling pretty good.
And this thing is a pride thing for you guys, too, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. We come out here every Sunday and do what we do to win these races, but there's always pride taken when you leave the event. If you could beat somebody off pit road, you always want to do as good as you can.
Now, the team member that really has the timing for all this thing is the jackman, Ray Gallahan. Now, these guys go on your marks. When you jack the car up, when you let it down, Kurt Busch and the other guys on the crew, how important is your job as far as getting these guys, get the timing right of it to do this pit stop?
Well, it's important in the sense that they can't, start until the car comes up. But after that, most everything's on the changers and the carriers getting the tires on and off. So my job's important, but it's not, just as long as the car stays up and comes down, and with all 5 lug nuts on both, all 4 tires. So.
Well, it's just like any other pit stop, though. You want to be fast, but any kind of mistake in this competition can really put you guys behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, as far as the competition goes, that's definitely the key is not having any mistakes, loose lug nuts or false starts or anything like that. You can beat yourself real fast, which usually is the case with half the competitors every year. It's been that way.
And the last guy we want to talk to meet you guys, Jay Hackney, the front tire changer. Now, you guys got a little bit of a different scenario this year, a new stud rule you guys are getting used to. How's that been for you to adjust, and tell the fans what the difference is this year on the studs versus last year?
Well, last year you could kind of just hang it out, knock out some good times. This year it's all about slowing down a tick and minimizing mistakes. I think if you ask everybody, they kind of like last year's pretty good, because you can probably see that on race day too. The time's a little bit different. So.
Well, these guys have got their work cut out for them. Look for these guys to be a factor tonight in the race, but also in the pit crew challenge. Now, get back up here with Trent one more time now. We'll tell the folks at home, you're one of the guys that innovated some of these introductions for the crew guys at the All-Star race. Any secrets you want to share to us here on race day?
No, I'm no more stage jumps. That hurt a couple years ago. I got to quit doing that. Now, these guys, they have a good time. It's a good race, and they look forward to it every year. So hopefully they'll do good, and we'll see what happens.
A long race tonight. Last question, 500 miles tonight. How you guys ready for the heat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you look at these guys, they work out 4 or 5 days a week. They're all in shape. This type of race hopefully will benefit our team, being in better shape and stuff. And they're good every Sunday, Saturday night, they're good. So hopefully we'll have a good finish.
Just like me and you, JR, work out 4 or 5 times a week. We're all ready down here. We're going pit road. Let's go.
Hey, Hermie, if opening the refrigerator door constitutes a workout, we'll take that. Hey, you can watch these guys in action. Tickets start at just $15, with children ages 2 to 12 getting in for half price. Jimmy, that's $7.50. Premier seating is still priced at $25 a ticket. Tickets may be purchased online at pitcrewchallenge.com or by calling 495-2295. And for those who live elsewhere, you can check it out on Speed. Now, back in 2006, it was #1 crew of driver Martin Truex that won this thing, including overall individual winner Jackman Jeff Carr. So let's now check in with driver #1 and Wendy Venturini.
Well, thank you, and I wanted to add that Kenny Wallace is the one that truly works out. You just got to check out his videos on Facebook. All right, I'm with Martin Truex. Back in 2006, we know your team won that challenge of the over-the-wall crew. How big of a deal is it for your team and the pride of the team that goes over the wall for you?
Well, it's huge for those guys, obviously I was really proud of them. I've been there every year they were in it, but for them, they put a lot of effort into this, and it seems like the drivers and the crew chiefs, everybody gets in the spotlight and gets all the, all the attention. And, when they do a good job every week, it seems like no one notices them. So, for them to have their own event, to go do that, it means so much to them. They put so much effort into it. And for our guys to win it, I know they were on cloud 9 for a few weeks for sure.
The All-Star race, 7 days away. You've been voted in the past. We just saw the top 10 driver votes. They're only separated by 10,000 votes, the top 10. Who's going to get voted in? How is your rally going? Are you trying to get everyone? Are you doing any campaigning right now?
Well, not really yet. We've got a week to go. By the way, how did I look in it? Did you see it?
Did I see the numbers?
Did you see the numbers?
Nope. It's just alphabetical. I can't tell. I cannot tell. I can't tell my sources. It's alphabetical, but you are top 10, so that's good. 10,000 votes and you'll pass them.
Yeah, that's great. We've got a great fan base. All my fans have been really supportive through the years. They voted us in a few years ago, and hopefully I don't need the vote. Hopefully we can race our way in this coming weekend. But I'd really appreciate the fans' support if we weren't able to race or win, if they get us in that race. I feel good about my cars. The guys have been doing a really good job with my cars here lately, getting things turned around. Our finishes haven't been great the last few weeks, but we've had some really fast cars. So things are turning around, looking up, and I'm excited, for tonight's race and again going to Charlotte for 2 weeks.
All right, good luck to Martin Truex. Now keep in mind, Johnny, he has plenty of top 5 finish here in the Nationwide Series, a best of 3rd, hoping to do better than that here in the Cup side today.
And Wendy, once again, if a driver can take this Johnny Mance trophy away from Darlington in the Southern 500, he'll know he beat this track, as well as 42 of his closest friends. We got a couple thousand of our closest friends out here at the stage with us. We appreciate you guys coming out here in the heat. They aren't scared. They're ready for racing at Darlington. Welcome back, everybody, to the return of the Southern 500 at Darlington, celebrating 60 years. We're going to take a hot lap around this track that's too tough to tame, and who better to drive us than the man himself, Cale Yarborough.
second part of the racetrack. Getting into number 4. Coming out of number 4. Just touched you right up in there. Left down into turn 1. Forward low. Let it drift down up against the stall there. Real tricky. Getting into turn 3. Drift up high. Hard to call all the time. The wall just jumped right out after it.
Cale, thanks, man. That was awesome. Now let's ride with Dale Jr. to see how he gets around this place. And Hermie Sadler and company, we can help them out, can't we?
Yeah, well, first thing we got to point out here is that they flip-flopped this racetrack. Cale was actually going into coming off turn 4 instead of turn 2 there, but coming off turn 2 right here, they've changed the corners, Jimmy, but it's still a tough racetrack.
Yeah, and the thing that's very deceiving in Cale view and now this view, look how wide this track is. You would think that, my gosh, I could race anywhere, but you're racing on around 10 feet of racetrack here, Kenny.
And might I add now, you know, it's already the narrowest racetrack in all of NASCAR, but now look at this. The soft wall takes up approximately 19 inches. So see there, we're used to running almost at 2 feet higher, so the soft wall is taking up even more of this racetrack.
So we could sell seats down on the apron.
Absolutely. It's not going to get down there unless they're in trouble.
The biggest thing about Darlington, though, is that what makes this track so special when you do have success here is the track is so difficult to drive. You see how close you race to the wall. The only track we go to that you race 6 or 8 inches from the wall. But also, guys, this paving job is just phenomenal.
You know what? This is still Darlington. But one thing I noticed this week was something they did last year. They repaved it. Race fans, I'm going to tell you what, the speeds are so high here. If we could overlap, say 3 years ago, throttles, I mean, we're setting new track records here. And so it is not the old Darlington because the cars are so fast.
It can be the old Darlington or the new Darlington. The bottom line is, for 500 miles, the driver cannot make a mistake.
Not one.
Not one mistake.
Not one mistake.
And not only on the racetrack, but you guys know, too, this is one of the most difficult pit roads to get to under green. It comes up to you in a hurry. Somebody will miss pit road tonight if we have green flag pit.
So on a track, guys, where you could you could only go maybe 2 or 3, sometimes you could take new tires after 3 or 4 laps out there if you had the opportunity, we might see different strategies, and we actually saw people scuffing tires, Kenny.
And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. There's so many things, and you're right, JR. You know, we're close to the ocean. We're only like 3.5 hours from Myrtle Beach, so the sand really, you know, gets the blowing around here from everywhere. And when you try to come off of the racetrack onto pit road, always into the sand, going out there about ready to hit the wall. That will happen tonight.
If one thing that concerns me before we go is, if believe it or not, this new paving job may have given some of these drivers a false sense of security.
Yeah.
It will bite them tonight. I'm telling you, it will be a wild race, and the guy who can prevent mistakes will win.
The Hagen Black.
I don't know. I'm not sure that's really nice, Spencer, but
well, that's what a lot of the drivers are going to say.
Maybe it's true. Sometimes
I know
the truth
some
hurts
hags.
a little bit. All right, let's get off that subject quickly. Now, we are still awaiting a NASCAR press conference that's going to come your way at 6 o'clock Eastern time. But for another update from the garage, let's bring in our good friend, Wendy Venturini. Wendy?
Well, we saw in practice yesterday, Johnny, 18 cars got the Darlington stripes, and some of them had to go to backup cars. If you see the garage area behind me, nice and empty, but let's swing around. Tech inspection is going on right now. Who's the only car in the garage stall? It's the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. And why is that? He's in a backup car. If you check out yesterday's qualifying run for Jimmy Johnson, the car got underneath of him, and he got the front and the rear clip on Jimmy Johnson's car. Within 10 seconds, that team had the backup car coming out of the hauler. Crew Chief Chackenhouse is looking over everything with the 48 team this morning, just making sure every nut and bolt is tightened on that car before it heads out to the racetrack today. Now, some other guys in backup cars today, the 00 David Rudiman also got into the wall hard enough to have to go to a backup car, and the 12 car of David Stremme also in a backup car from a hard practice wreck for David Stremme. Those guys will go to the rear of the field. There's one more person going in the rear of the field, and that is the 43 Reed Sorensen for an engine change. Now, according to NASCAR right now, we're waiting for this press conference to take place to see what happens, but there is a driver change in the 87 of Joe Nemechek. Scott Speed will be starting the race for Joe Nemechek. So we think right now, from what we're hearing from NASCAR, the 87 will have to go to the rear of the field as well to start this race because of that driver change. Scott Speed's seat has been put inside Joe Nemechek's race car right now. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot. Talk about baptism by fire for Scott Speed. That's a heck of a way to learn how to get around the Lady in Black, is starting at the back of the pack. We'll have much more coming up here from Darlington, but we do want to remind you that next Friday on Speed, NASCAR's baddest and boldest go tailgate to tailgate under the lights in Charlotte. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, Friday at 7:30 Eastern. It's part of All-Star Week on Speed. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
I was the winner of the All-Star race in 2000.
Keep your eye on Dale Earnhardt Jr. He has come from the back of this pack.
This is for the lead and for a possible payday of better than $500,000.
The fans are going absolutely crazy. Dale Earnhardt Jr. comes to the checkered flag and wins the 2000 running of the Winston.
It was special to me because the All-Star race is the best of the best. Everybody brings their A game, and the man who wins it has surely done the best job.
That's Dale Earnhardt Jr. recounting his 2000 All-Star victory. Now you can hear more from him along with Casey Kane, Darrell Waltrip, and Michael Waltrip on Tuesday night on Speed on a special edition right here on Speed Tuesday night, 10 p.m. on a show called My All-Star Win. Check out for those personal stories on their first All-Star victories. Now before Tuesday night, of course, is Mother's Day just around the corner tomorrow, so we figured we would honor some of the mothers in this garage area. In this week's Real Deal, we sat down with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his mom, Brenda. Here is a sneak peek of what you're going to see later on in the show of this week's Real Deal.
At least once a week, I come sit in her office and we just raise hell for about an hour or two and complain about everything. And we make fun of everybody. Me and Mom always enjoy, like if we were to be sitting in a food court at a mall, we'd pick on every person that walked by.
That don't sound nice.
I know. It's just something, it's just something I enjoy doing because my mama, one of her best qualities that I like is she's a real good smart aleck. And so she's fun just to listen to, crack up. She'll crack you up. She's pretty funny. She's really, really, there's in your life you meet like one or two people that are like the best smart asses, and so it's just fun to learn from because it's fun to be a smart ass.
I don't know if I like the light you're portraying me.
Obviously, Dale Earnhardt Jr., his mom, Brenda, they seem more than just son and mom. They seem really close friends later on in NASCAR Race Day. You'll see that full conversation, and you'll want to stick around for it because it is a good one as we honor the mom of NASCAR's most popular driver. Now, for more on what's headed on in the garage, we'll have that press conference in a little bit, Johnny, so we'll be back to you from the media center.
You know what I also think is breaking news is Dale Jr. sitting in a food court. When's the last time that had happened? Without getting mobbed or whatever. No, but that's pretty cool. That's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. Real deal.
Junior has told me in the past he likes to sit in his motorhome, look out his window, and make fun of people. He's like, hey, look at that clothes he's wearing.
Hey, he could just look at his TV right now and make fun of these people.
But, Junior, I know you're watching.
Not you guys, not the fans, us.
And I know how much you love us on this show because we're always bragging on you, right, fans? Yes. Always talking about how great Dale Earnhardt Jr. is, the man.
Yeah, but you know the neat thing is, when I see Junior and the smile on his face with his mother, I think back to the times with my dad and mom. Man, you can't wait to spend time with them, and that is pretty cool. I mean, I can see that, that you sit there with your mom and having fun. It's awesome.
You know what Junior's also pretty good at? Is doing the burnout after the race. And you know what? Some of the best in the business are going to get a chance to see if they can do that in the Pennzoil Victory Challenge. You can watch it live on May 16th as part of Speed's special edition of NASCAR Race Day. Darrell Waltrip is going to be one of the contestants, and Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer, is going to be one of the judges. That spells trouble.
I love it.
Well, M&M's is looking for NASCAR's most colorful fans, and tonight they're the most colorful fans and the sweatiest fans as well because it's hot out here at Darlington. Our good friend Rutledge Wood is off on Kyle Petty's charity ride, so Kenny Wallace stepped in to help out the good folks at M&M's.
M&M's is always looking for colorful NASCAR personalities, and we found them right turn Ryan. I mean, we found some good people here.
Oh, man, we're hanging out in Darlington, and everybody here met on NASCAR.com, so their fans are going online.
Tell me about this picture.
I'm a NASCAR artist, and I love to paint. Love NASCAR, and Jimmy Johnson, 3-time champion, had to do a painting about it. He's awesome.
Take a look at this car. I mean, this is incredible. Now, how long did it take you to do this car?
The children painted it in under 2 hours.
Under 2 hours. How many children?
There's about 8 kids, 5 to 9 years old.
How about these NASCAR fans? They're going crazy here in the South. Darlington!
That's all you had to say, Kenny, was Darlington, and everybody went, woo! Now, fans, be sure to register at NASCAR.com/most-colorful-fan. If you couldn't be here with us at Darlington, you can still register to compete. You can play games, a lot of interactive stuff on NASCAR.com/most-colorful-fan. You can also win a trip to the final race of the season at Homestead Miami Speedway as one of the M&M's most colorful fans of NASCAR. And make sure your M&Ms do not melt today because it is hot here in Darlington.
Just pass them to me.
Yes, Spencer will take any M&Ms off anybody's hands if you're worried about them melting right now. Let's now get you inside to Hermie Sadler, who is standing by with his brother among another driver. Hermie?
Well, we got a couple drivers here, 3 drivers, Elliott Sadler, Jamie McMurray, A.J. Allmendinger. I'm going to tell you guys up front, I'm not sure how this interview is going to go. This is not going to be, but we're talking about trying to get in the All-Star race next weekend at Lowe's Motor Speedway. One way you can get in, A.J., is through the showdown, which comes before the All-Star race. Any particular memory from last year's race you want to share with us?
No, I can't really remember that. I mean, I remember, we got into the All-Star race. I wasn't sure how that happened.
Well, I'm trying to find B-roll of the first lap of the showdown. Can you kind of run me through that?
Well, the first lap was really good because I actually passed some guys. It was the restart that there were some issues. So that's from recollection. But the first lap was good.
First lap was good. Let's move over to Elliott Sadler. Jamie McMurray, by the way, is the rose between 2 thorns. We'll get to Jamie in a second. Elliott, good news, all 3 of you guys are in the top 10 in voting for the All-Star race, so you got that going for you. But I know you want to race your way in, and I want any thoughts you have on last year's showdown?
I don't even remember what I did last week. We had a fast car last year for the showdown. We just, maybe we can take that momentum back and try to race our way in again. But I kind of want to forget what happened last year. We'll work on this year. Let's work on this year.
We got to recap what happened. Now, Jamie, you got any recollection of what happened with these guys in the All-Star race last year in the showdown?
I have to be honest, I don't have a clue as to what happened last week or last year.
You gonna help me do this, and now you don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know the story. I'd love to help you out.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'll tell the story. The story is they came off turn 2. AJ says after a restart, I'm not sure, but Elliott was on the outside pole, I believe, and maybe you got caught in between gears or something.
Yeah, that's what happened.
But you guys have come a long way since then. Your teammates, let's get serious for a second. All you guys trying to race your way in, you can either get in by winning tonight, getting voted in, or by finishing first or second in that showdown. So you guys need to get some momentum going.
Well, like I've said, I'm not against shameless plugging of myself. I will do that as much as I can. And so I would like to have 2 backup plans. I'd like to win tonight, but if that doesn't happen, I'd like to go win the showdown. If that doesn't happen, I need some fan votes. So I anything I can do to get those votes, I'm almost willing to do. Not everything between you guys.
Well, Jamie, what are you willing to do, and why should the people at home vote for Jamie McMurray should you need that vote?
I don't know that I'm going to go there with you, Hermie. I think that if anyone learned something last year is that the driver that gets voted in has a chance to win that race, with Casey Kane winning it last year. So I know Casey was really honored by that, and I think it would be the same for.
Why are you trying to give serious answers to a funny interview?
Well, I'm sorry. Where would you like for me to go with that?
Why wouldn't it? Look at Elliott. Look, good-looking man that he is, smiling. Why would you not vote for Elliott? If you where's your phone? If you got a Sprint phone, if you vote texting on your Sprint phone, it counts twice. You could give him 4 votes right now.
I did realize I'm the one with the belt in this group and my shirt tucked in. I feel like Rusty.
A lot of bragging rights for the guys on the crew, though. I mean, for the All-Star race, a lot of family, friends, everybody showing up. So it is a good night to have a good showing for your team.
It is. You want to go run well, but it's a fun weekend. I think it's fun for all the fans. It's fun for the drivers. No points involved. Thanks, Jamie. We were just sitting around. We came up with a great idea in the Elliott Sadler camp. It's so hot today. We were like, man, it's hot. Wouldn't you like to have a Dunkin' booth out here? So what we decided, fans at home, if you vote me into the All-Star race, I will rent a Dunkin' booth put it at the front of Lowe's Motor Speedway for the Coca-Cola 600, and for an hour, you guys can come by and dunk me, pay money, all the proceeds go to Children's Speedway charities. How about that?
And Jimmy Spencer, I'm nominating you when A wants to take a break for you to get in the dunking booth. So we got more people in there.
Whoa, that's an extra.
Careful.
Just kidding, Jimmy.
Are you saying we need extra water?
Yeah, that. I don't know we can do that. So
careful.
Well, people, listen. Anybody who comes for the dunking booth, bring a life preserver because there may be water flooding in the parking lot at Lowe's Motor Speedway. I didn't say that, Jimmy. I love you. I'm just interviewing these guys.
Hey,
vote these guys in the All-Star race, please.
Hermie.
What, Kenny? What?
I want to know how much money they're making off of chugging that Coke on national TV. Ask one of those guys
That's what
right
you need
now.
on a hot sunny day.
Kenny wants to know how much you guys making off chugging these Cokes, and why don't you have a Coke? Would you like a Snickers Coke?
Good answer.
Never mind, this interview's over.
You know,
JR,
we're not...
get me out of here.
Yeah, we're not
Please.
exactly political pundits or anything, but I have to say that Elliott Sadler had a heck of an argument for voting him into the All-Star race, the dunking booth. What a great idea. Anyway, there's Elliott Sadler's number 19 car. When we come back, we'll have much more from Darlington.
It's a special weekend for moms everywhere. And to celebrate, Wendy chats with Junior and his mother to get the deal on their relationship.
You gonna have any problem doing this without getting emotional?
No.
You're getting all deep on me.
No, I've been thinking of jokes all morning.
All right. Let's go down that road.
I wonder if you're going to have a problem with it.
Let's go that road.
Stay tuned. NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
Welcome back, everybody, to Darlington, where we're ready for the return of the Southern 500. Jeff Gordon has regained the title lead from Kurt Busch by virtue of his performance in Richmond, so he finds himself at a track where he runs best at. 7 wins for Jeff Gordon at this track they call Too Tough to Tame. And how about Matt Kenseth, a record-setting, pole-sitting performance as he will lead us to the green flag and also add in a nationwide series race win. And Matt the Brat Kenseth is on a roll heading in to tonight's Southern 500. Now let's take a look at the standings where we find some of NASCAR's best. Jeff Gordon, Kurt Busch, and Tony Stewart is in the 3rd spot.
We're seeing it fairly close there, first, second, third, but we're starting to see some separation here, 120, 127. Because Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch, these guys are starting to establish themselves to be locked into this top 12, Kenny. It ain't that far away.
And I would have to say second place, Kurt Busch. To me, is a surprise because 20th in the points this time last year. Yeah. Team Penske back on a road. Kurt ends up winning at Atlanta.
And, of course, Kyle Busch, the hottest driver right now, once again, after the win in Richmond, comes in here as the defending champion of this race.
Yeah, the big thing here is you're starting to see now Clint Boyer and Carl 220, 230 back. I mean, that's more than a full race behind the leader, Kenny. So these guys got to start worrying. But, you know, here is this top 12. This is the critical spot. Can Mark Martin make it? Can Juan Pablo? This is the big story, Johnny.
Well, another big story coming out of Darlington today. We told you a few moments ago about a NASCAR press conference that was scheduled for 6 p.m. tonight. We just heard from Jim Hunter, Director of Communications for NASCAR. Let's hear what Hunter had to say.
Jeremy Mayfield, driver of the number 41 car in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Tony Martin, a licensed crew member with the number 34 team in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. And Ben Williams, a licensed crew member with the number 16 team in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, have been indefinitely suspended from NASCAR for violating the sanctioning body's substance abuse policy.
So multiple race winner Jeremy Mayfield, driver of the number 41, has been suspended from NASCAR indefinitely for violation of the substance abuse policy. It simply doesn't happen much in Sprint Cup competition. For more, let's go back into the garage and rejoin Wendy Venturini.
This is definitely the biggest news of 2009 regarding this substance abuse policy. We heard from Jim Hunter. There is a zero-tolerance substance abuse policy in NASCAR. He went on to say it's one of the toughest policies in our sport. Jeremy Mayfield has been confirmed to fail his drug test and has been indefinitely suspended. Now, there was a lot of questions just now in this press conference regarding whether Claritin falls on that list of the drug, and they are referring to their doctor, Robert Black, on that issue. Now, they did tell us, NASCAR did tell us they did eliminate alcohol from that testing policy, from that test, so we know it was not alcohol. Now, we do know last week in Richmond, this test took place last week at Richmond. Typically, they get about 4 to 8 drivers every Cup weekend in the Cup garage that are tested. Every driver in the Sprint Cup Series was tested before the season started. But 4 to 8 of them get tested on a weekly basis. Last week, it was Jeremy Mayfield. There was an A and a B sample taken. When he failed the A sample, they went ahead and took another sample, and he failed that one too. So we're just following on more details of this story, but we do know alcohol was eliminated, but definitely a sad story in the garage from what we've heard regarding the substance abuse policy. Johnny?
Wendy, thanks a lot, and certainly that makes the story a little bit more sad right now. If you remember back to the beginning of the season, a couple weeks before the Daytona 500, Jeremy Mayfield did not even have a team. He didn't have any race cars. He put a team together, came down, and started making some waves as an independent owner.
Well, and this is tragic for our sport because, you know, the biggest thing about NASCAR is it's family-oriented. You know, Mr. France started this company with that in mind, and I'm in favor of NASCAR's drug abuse, Kenny. No tolerance.
Drug abuse policy.
Their policy. And the big thing here is I think that it'll work out. We'll find out what it is eventually. But, you know, if you take drugs, you don't belong in this sport.
Well, you know what? NASCAR said to us, anything you take, you better be aware of. I take Propecia so my hair doesn't fall out. I take a sodium, some cholesterol medicine. There, that's everything I take. And I'm very serious on this show, but, you know, it's all out there. I don't care who you are. But Carl Edwards said, look, what happens if you take Claritin Clear? You know, I'm completely devastated right now, very sad. I like Jeremy Mayfield. You know, they took an A sample, a B sample. But these crew members, I mean, it's just like every other week. Guys, what are you doing? This is the big time. There are people in the Midwest, the North, California, who will cut their finger off to become a NASCAR crew member. So anything you take, you better get permission for it. I mean, it's just, that's the way it is.
And again, it is very rare in the sport to hear about this, especially with a driver. So we do wish Jeremy Mayfield all the best. Sad story, and we hope everything works out for the best for everybody involved in the long run. Now, we are counting down to the All-Star race. You can see it live here on Speed. And after leading 9 of the final 10 laps in the 1993 All-Star race, Mark Martin was robbed by a late race caution. Martin had moved out of a commanding lead, but Dale Earnhardt assumed the lead in turn number 3 and became the first 3-time winner of the event.
We did dominate that race, and I thought we had it won.
Trouble. Turn 4, it's Terry Labonte, and Elliott can't avoid him. Caution flag with the white flag, and Mark Martin is 12 car lengths in front of Dale Earnhardt.
Terry Labonte's engine blew, and they threw a caution on the white flag lap, which should have been, I thought, was over.
The caution flag came out on the 9th lap of the race. And according to the rules, they go back to the last completed lap.
He restarted on the outside of me and managed to get ahead of me. I just couldn't stay ahead of him.
They are dead even going into turn 3. Earnhardt to the front. What a dive into the corner. Mark Martin has a look at him, but Dale Earnhardt will collect $215,000 for his 3rd victory in the Winston.
Deals like that, the fastest car doesn't always win. And he beat me. I don't have an excuse.
Neil, that was gutsy determination, is all that was.
Celebrating 25 years of All-Star memories. Don't miss the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race on Speed, Saturday, May 16th, 7 p.m. Eastern. NASCAR on Speed. Be there.
Well, it was Dale Sr. that introduced the idea of a special paint scheme to celebrate the All-Star race and also, well, to make some good race cars for diecast as well. And like father, like son.
I'm running a foundation. The Dale Jr. Foundation logo on the hood is the primary And I'd seen Jimmy Johnson running his foundation logo, and I said, you know, what all does that entail? How does a guy get his foundation logo on his car? And they were like, man, no problem, we'll talk to your sponsors, and they were more than willing. So I'm pretty excited I had an opportunity to help design the car. It's really a simple scheme, but if I had my way, that's the way my car would look every week. It should shine, it should pop. It's the white's a pearl white, so it'll look good under lights. It would be cool to win the All-Star race, my second one, in this car with the foundation on it. I know it'd be a popular win for all the kids that we worked with and Make-A-Wish. It would probably spur a lot of involvement and donations toward the foundation. I'm sure bring a lot of awareness to it. That'd be great. If people want to get information about our foundation, you can go to thedaljuniorfoundation.org and check us out, see what we're getting involved in, see how you can help.
To see a Dale Jr.'s paint scheme and others, the NASCAR Sprint All-Star Race Saturday night, May 16th. Come on out and see us. It's the most spectacular All-Star event in all of sports for an unbelievably low price. Tickets start at just $25. Call 800-455-FANS or buy online at LowesMotorspeedway.com. Back to Darlington in a moment.
Darlington's seen its share of craziness, and we've got the shots to prove it. Race day takes you through the years and all the memorable moments. Coming at you, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot.
My All-Star win was the inaugural race in 1985.
Waltrip cuts to the outside. Gadd is on the bottom of the racetrack. It will be a drag race.
It did not end without controversy.
Darrell Waltrip, a hand in the air, a wave to the crowd of 100,000 plus. He wins $200,000 and he blows up.
They're supposed to tear these motors down after the race. If they inspect that one, they're going to have to go down to the first turn and pick up the pieces.
Imagine that, Darrell Waltrip and controversy. They just sort of go together. But it was a special moment, and it's one that people will never forget because I went up in smoke after I crossed the start-finish line.
An All-Star win is certainly unforgettable, and we have special All-Star coverage on Speed starting next week at 8 o'clock Eastern on Monday night, and it goes on from there until the race itself. Now, a win at the All-Star race is huge. Also, a win at the Southern 500 is huge. It's one of the most historic racetracks we go to, and you can live history every time you come to Darlington, and there's a lot of drivers who will never forget the history they made at the Southern 500.
A United States Marine Band greets the thousands of souls who jammed downtown Darlington, South Carolina to ogle movie stars, senators, statesmen, Marine brass, and beautiful girls. A small, quiet South Carolina town suddenly becomes as big as Schenectady.
These are today's Paul Bunyans and John Henrys, heroes almost larger than life, about to do things the rest of us can only dream of.
This race is called the Southern 500. The track is Darlington.
A tradition nearly as old as NASCAR itself. The Southern 500 is back.
The green flag, they're off.
Go, go, go! Get your speed up from 40 to 120 miles an hour, bumper to bumper.
And at the track, too tough to tame. Danger lurks around every turn.
Look out! Lee Petty's son, here for his initiation to the Darlington Battle Fire.
Dale Earnhardt has a problem. The car is down low on the racetrack. Slow down the backstretch.
He hit the wall coming off turn 2 in the very first lap.
Yarborough spun more times than a dancer in a discotheque and had it under control until the last step.
Once again, drivers look to add their name to the long and storied record book of the Southern 500.
Petty's running smooth as grease, clicking off the laps and looking for that white flag. Fireball Robert in a Chevrolet wins the Southern 500.
That's it. That is the finish line of the Southern 500, 1965, a race that will be long remembered.
Richard Petty wins the Southern 500.
Cale has his hand raised in a victory salute. He's done all the high-speed running for the day. There's nothing left to prove.
The white flag waves for Buddy Baker in third spot, and then the checker for David Pearson, his second victory in a row in the Southern 500.
And the checkered flag goes for Bonnet. To win here at Darlington really is a great feather in any race driver's cap.
Bill Elliott is racing into the record books. Bill Elliott is going toward immortality. Bill Elliott gets the checker flag. Bill Elliott has won an additional $1 million in 1985.
Here comes Tim Richmond for the checkered flag in the Southern 500 off of turn number 4. Here he is. Tim Richmond wins the Southern 500, the 37th annual running of this race.
Here's the checkered flag, and Dale Earnhardt wins the Southern 500 for 1990.
Harry Gant takes the checkered flag here in the Heinz Southern 500.
Jeff Gordon holds off a last lap charge by Jeff Burton and wins the Mountain Dew Southern 500.
Final lap of the final Southern 500 at Darlington. It'll be Jimmy Johnson as the winner of the 55th Southern 500.
And when you've won at Darlington, you've done it all.
You know, I read somewhere this morning, I don't remember where I read it, but that someone said that coming to Darlington is a celebration of history, along with a little pain and misery for the drivers mixed in. And they talked about how hot this race always was on Labor Day. Well, we got a hot race tonight, even though it's not on Labor Day.
Might I add that I'm so happy that NASCAR brought back the Southern 500. As we look back on history, they'll say, what happened to the Southern 500, the name, you know, a year ago in, say, 2008? But it's back, and it's back by popular demand. Let me just share my story with you. Years ago, when I came from Missouri down here, the great Dale Earnhardt said, hey, Herm, you want to ride down on my motorhome? Spence. Oh, Earnhardt stops. I get in the motorhome. Here I drive down the road with Dale Earnhardt to Darlington. At that time, I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm in my own world and everything. It's only till now that I appreciate history. So history, when it's being made, you don't know it until 10, 15, 20 years later. Well, race fans, let me tell you something. This place is full of history. It's Southern sweet tea, cotton fields, and, man, it's right here. I mean, that's Darlington.
Well, to me, you know, when they eliminated dates at Rockingham and then they eliminated a date here, it made me nervous. Because, to me, the history of this sport, this is the first asphalt race ever in NASCAR. And to know the fans here have supported this through thick and thin. We're going to see a great race tonight, and we're going to make history again. And I could write a book about Darlington and the Southern 500. So to me, yeah, I just get excited about it. I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely a cool place to be in, especially on a hot night here at Darlington. You know, one of our themes so far this race day has been the history of Darlington, and also one of the themes has been drivers trying to get themselves voted in to the All-Star race. And as always, we get the Napa good stuff with Booty Barker as he weighs in on the fan vote.
We're here at Darlington for the Southern 500, and while it's full of good stuff, we got a big event coming up next week, the All-Star race. And something kind of bothers me a little bit about it. I know it's not y'all's fault. It's the fan vote. Personally, I think it sucks. I think if you're not good enough to get in the race on your own, then you shouldn't be voted in. But the vote is there, and NASCAR's going to ask you to do it, so let's mix it up a little bit. I say you vote for your favorite crew chief. You could vote for Chad Knaus, but y'all know he's really not your favorite. But seriously, y'all, you vote for who you want to. As crew chief for the 55 team, we're going to race our way in and take that $1 million. Because with that money, you could buy a whole bunch of good stuff.
All right, thanks a lot, Booty. You can definitely get the good stuff with Napa Auto Parts. And right now online...
Sick man.
Oh, he's not sick. He's sane. He's the sanest one among us.
Wacky.
But the fans don't agree with Booty right now. The online chat is talking about how much they like Elliott Sadler's campaign proposal. We'll see what happens when it comes All-Star Night. But tonight, it's about Darlington.
Welcome back to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot here in Darlington, South Carolina. They call this the PD region because the PD River right there. Beautiful scenics of lovely Darlington. Kyle Busch etched his name in the history books last week, becoming the only driver, along with Cale Yarborough, to win on their birthday. Kyle Busch doing so on his 24th. How about Jeff Gordon? He leads the points, taking over from Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch trails Jeff Gordon by only 10 points, who had held the lead for 1 week and now sits second in the Sprint Cup standings. And another guy who wants to etch his name in the history books today, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and would probably want to do so in honor of Mother's Day weekend. Of course, tomorrow is Mother's Day, so this week's Real Deal, we decided to catch up with NASCAR's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and his mom, Brenda. Here's a little bit of an insight into their relationship. First off, Brenda, happy Mother's Day to you, a day that only comes around once a year. What does Mother's Day mean to you?
I mean, it's a personal day that, you know, I share with my kids, and as every other mother does. I was reminded, it's been several years ago, Dale, he forgot to call me on Mother's Day. Or he didn't call me. He was out doing some other good stuff.
Good stuff.
And Kelly got on him, I think, and he said, "Oh, hell, every day's Mother's Day." So 2 or 3 times a year, I quote that back to him. And really, he's right, because anything I need and want, I always have. You know, it's nice to get that little call, Happy Mother's Day, though.
Sounds like you just say, hey, every day is Mother's Day. What do you think of the day?
Excuse.
Yeah.
Well, I love Mother's Day because I think it really kind of keeps you in check as a son, especially. It seems like the daughters don't have much of a problem with it, but the sons trying to appreciate their moms and just giving them a call and letting them know how much you care about them. I'm real lucky, and I get to spend a lot of time with my mom during the year. And so if I forget to call her on Mother's Day, I guess
I let it slide.
Yeah, she lets it slide a
Yeah.
bit, but I've been better about it here lately.
I know you were quite a handful as a child. Were there some things that maybe you did as a kid that, you know, your mom is still upset about?
I can't really remember. You may remember some times when I really ticked you off, but I thought I was the good one.
You were, really. You were very content to
She said I didn't
just
ever,
stay
even
at
when I was
home,
tiny,
do nothing.
Like as soon as she brought me home from the hospital, I don't think I cried.
No, the two of y'all were total opposite. I mean, really, the only thing I can think about is that you were a little lazy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that ain't changed. So, I mean, you know, I've just learned to accept that.
Still has a little laziness built.
Yeah,
Only
he'll
mom
still
can
let
say
the
that.
cereal bowls pile up and, you know, don't want to go to bed. But, don't want to get up.
How proud are you of Dale as a son and all that he's accomplished so far? Because clearly he's already successful.
I'm very proud of him. I wouldn't change a thing about him. I think sometimes he doesn't realize how proud everybody is of him. But, I mean, I wouldn't change a thing.
Cool.
Do you have to listen to your mom sometimes say that for you to realize that?
Not really. She's really, she tells me all the time. There's 2 kinds of parents. There's ones that tell you how they feel about you all the time, and then there's the kind that don't tell you enough or as much as you'd like. And she's definitely one of the ones that lets you know. Anytime the job gets stressful or things aren't going my way, or she just knows that I'm not in a good mood, she'll tell me something that I need to hear. You know, that makes you understand where you're at and what's going on around you and what everybody's perception is on things. Because she's on the other side of the fence and she gets a different view of what I'm dealing with. And my perception of what I think things are and hers is going to be different every time. So, you know, I kind of make a problem maybe bigger than it really is, and she's there to make it small.
What's left in Dale's life that you want him to accomplish?
I just want him to be happy. And like I said, I want the day to come when he can really be comfortable in everything that he's accomplished and enjoy what he's amassed, and you know, every day is fun. That's what I want for him.
Shoot, everybody wants that.
Yeah. I pretty much have that every day. I get up every day. I'm happy.
Yeah, it took you a while to get there.
Did?
I mean,
I don't know.
I got a ways to go.
If I hadn't have got up every day happy, I don't know how to got through some of the stuff I did, do you?
And we thank Miss Brenda and Dale Jr. for opening up. I think that's one of my favorite parts of The Real Deal is that we get to see the human side of these people away from the media, away from the popularity. They're just good old boys. Dale Earnhardt Jr. openly talking in front of his mom about their relationship. And another thing that got edited out, I'll tell you, race fans, she did mention that she would like Dale Jr. to have some grandkids. Now, she wanted some grandkids other than from Miss Kelly Earnhardt, but nothing in the future for Dale Jr. as of right now. And that's one of the most beautiful things about this NASCAR Race Day show. We're headed to the driver's intro area where all the drivers will have their mothers and their wives. It's a great day on NASCAR Race Day, one of my favorite ones, and I want to wish a happy Mother's Day to my mom, Kathy, who's not here at this racetrack. She's at another racetrack today at Kentucky Speedway. Worried about that ARCA Remix Series race. Now let's head over to Hermie Sadler, who has one of the most beautiful moms in that garage area, Miss Belle Sadler. Hermie?
Yeah, well, I'm going to catch up with my mom in a few minutes, but right now we're with Cale Yarborough. Thanks for being on the show. In the television debut, talking about grandkids, Cale brought his 2 grandkids along with you. First of all, thanks for coming back. I know Darlington's a special place for you. 5 of your 83 wins came right here.
Well, Herman, this is a very special place to me. You know, I was born and raised not too far from here, and this was my home racetrack. Always hated to run here, but I love to win here. This was having won this race in 1968, before they reshaped the racetrack, I wouldn't take anything in the world for that win.
And a lot of fans may not know, your first ever race was in the 1957 Southern 500, the first time you actually made an attempt in a big-time NASCAR race.
That's right. I was racing short tracks, and right out of high school, 17 years old, a year younger than Joey is the other day, but he's got a lot better equipment than I had back then.
Now, what if you'd have had, you know, safer barriers? We've got the safer barriers now, but you may could have used them safer barriers a couple of times, because I've seen some footage of you going all the way out of the ballpark at this place.
Yeah, my first trip here, I slipped under the fence to get in, and since then I've been under the fence and over the fence and on top of the fence, so I've tried every fence out they have here.
I interviewed Joey Logano earlier in the show, and he's a rookie, just getting his feet wet, and he spent some time with you a couple of weeks ago, got his best ever qualifying run here this weekend. What did you tell Joey? I know you don't want to take credit for the qualifying run, but what did you tell him? What's the key to getting around this racetrack?
I can't. That's our secret now. That's, you know.
Oh, nobody's watching, Cale. Just me and you.
I haven't told many people that, and I told Joey. I said, "Now, Joey, I'm gonna tell you some secrets now, but you got to keep it to yourself." But,
well, he did. He wouldn't tell us.
Well, he's a good kid, and I did give him some good advice, and looked like it paid off.
I think it did too. We appreciate all you guys coming back and being with us. Thanks you guys for joining us. Have a good time. You got a great pawpaw, and we're going to go back to JR at the stage. These guys, fun to have the legends of our sport back here at Darlington. JR?
Hermie, thanks a lot. And we got to say happy Mother's Day to all our mothers, Mrs. Roberts, Mrs. Wallace, and also the late Mrs. Spencer. We know you are with us. We wore these shirts for you today. Her favorite color was blue, and she is with us in spirit. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms. None of us will be anything without you guys. We're going to take a quick break here, and when we come back, we'll continue to count down, and it's getting to be a close countdown to the Southern 500, the revival of that great race. Welcome back, everybody. Baseball is running long on Fox, so the Fox pre-race show will be seen right here on Speed. Coming your way at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Chris Myers and company will continue to count down to the Southern 500 at Darlington Raceway. Now is the time. We're getting ready in the Hollywood Hotel as we speak. And now is the time for us to put our collective money where our collective mouths are and try to pick a winner. The standings go like this in the NASCAR Race Day Fantasy Racing. Kenna Wallace is up top. Hermie Sadler, 67 back. Wendy, 171 back. And then, well, there's the rest of us. We'll talk about that a little bit later. Kenny, take it away. Yeah, you're embarrassing us.
I am sorry. First of all, I usually do not pick the big red truck, but he is Matt the Brat Kenseth.
Big red truck.
On the pole with a new track record. He's 6 in qualifying. I like his temperament. Matt the Brat will win it all.
Big red truck. Hermie?
So who's
he won last night.
Hermie!
Hey, y'all sit up there at the stage and have all the fun you want to. I'm giving my guy a pep talk. I'm picking Jeff Burton. We're going to win tonight, ain't we?
We're going to try hard. I think we got a good car. We're going to see what we make happen.
He had a good qualifying run. What's it going to take to keep it up there?
This track's going to change a lot, I think, throughout the night. And, you know, the key is being able to, you know, this tire doesn't like new tires. It likes old tires. So being able to go on this tire good and then being able to keep the speed later in the run, that's what it's going to take. And, again, I think we got a good car. We'll see.
I want a man who's going to be consistent for 500 miles. That's Jeff Burton. Wendy?
Okay, first of all, I have to thank Kyle Busch for the win because I got 10 bonus points, which technically means I'm leading when we reset the chase. And today, I'm going with Greg Biffle. Greg, You described your race car very nicely to me. How is it?
Yeah, I said it was pretty bad race car. It's driving really good, 3 and Ford Fusion. Listening to these guys, they're giving me a few pointers on what to do here. So I think I got a great car for tonight. Really excited about it.
All right, and that's bad as in good. Johnny?
Yeah, I guess that's what it is. Say bad for good. It's bad. It's bad fast, what it is. Now, tonight, no big red truck here. I'm going to pick the driver of the number 20 Home Depot Toyota, who had his best ever qualifying effort, young Joey Logano. Yes, young Joey Logano got some advice from Cale Yarborough. And look, I don't care what you guys say. I'm going with Joey Logano. I'm getting some fans getting mad at me. I'm going with Joey.
Job.
You know that the 20 car, the number 20, has never won at Darlington.
I don't care.
Hey, he'll give you a good finish.
Care.
Top 10.
He's going to give him a good finish tonight.
Top 10.
Maybe
Joey
not a
Logano.
win, but he's going to do good.
But how could... Wait a while. You know, big red truck. My truck's all kind of colors. You saw that girl had all those girls painted. Well, that's me, baby. Rick Hendrick, he's won like 12 races here. You know, how can I not pick Jeff Gordon? 7-time winner. Give me a break. Jeff Gordon will win the Southern 500
Is he
tonight.
driving a black SS with a navigation?
I don't care what that
Driving
means.
a National Guard car. Last time he drove for the National Guard, he won.
It don't matter what Jeff Gordon drives. That sucker gets it done.
Yes, he does.
All right. 7-time champion here at this racetrack. That's not too shabby. Let's take a look at who's got whom. Kenny Wallace got the 17. Hermie Sadler, Jeff Burton, Wendy Venturini, the 5th. And old J. number 20. How about that?
Hey, did I tell you I went shopping the other day at the Home Depot, bought me a bunch of handles. But
Good.
Pretty.
Jimmy does have a nice yard, by the way. I've seen it. It's very nice.
He likes staying
Now
at
it's
home.
time to get the pit strategy from Chad Knaus. And you know what? He's won at this place before, and pit strategy could be big tonight. Let's go to Chad Knaus now for our Sunoco pit strategy of the week.
Okay, now remember, last year when we came into Darlington, guys, the track was really, really smooth and really, really fast. We're seeing a lot of the same characteristics, but it is starting to weather just a little bit, although we did break the track record this weekend. You can go about 65 laps, let's say, on a Sunoco fuel run, but the thing that you have to remember is the tire fall-off isn't as high as what we've seen here in the past. Before they paved it, boy, you just chew the tires up. Now they're not falling off as much. So what that does is, as a crew chief, that allows you the opportunity to maybe to do a little bit of pit strategy during that 65-lap Sunoco fuel run and maybe go for 2 tires, a little bit of track position. Play it, you know, you got to play those odds back and forth and see what's going to happen. But I can promise you, the guy that wins this race at the end of the event, he will have a stripe on the right side of his car.
Very good point, Chad. As we see Kyle Busch's car, he had a stripe or 2 on the side of that thing last year. And thank you for that Sunoco pit strategy. We remind you that the Fox pre-race show will be seen here on Speed in just a matter of about 15 minutes, and then the race will green flag in less than an hour.
Next Saturday, throw points out the window as the best of the best head home for a little bump and grind. Special K rocked the vote and his competition last year. Who gets the check this time around? Speed's got you covered from green to checkered and beyond. Live from the All-Star Race, NASCAR Race Day built by the Home Depot.
NASCAR Race Day is built by the Home Depot. Visit homedepot.com/spring. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Brought to you in part by Victory, the new American motorcycle, and by Sprint. For more Sprint Cup Series, go to sprint.com/speed.
And welcome back to NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot. Our last segment of the day, our lightning round, as we like to call it. And special day for the mothers. Got the mothers backstage here at Driver Intros. Denny Hamlin's mom, Mary Lou, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
How many races did you get to come to, and what would it mean for your son to win at Victory Lane here on Mother's Day weekend?
Oh, it'd be dream come true.
And does he give you a little bit of the money since you come support him, or no?
No, but he takes care of his dad and I pretty well.
He better do that. Danny, tell us about this racetrack. I know you've been fast here through the years. You'd love to get to Victory Lane here.
Yeah, definitely. We really run well here at Darlington. I think we got the best average finish, but no win yet. We came close last year, or 2 years ago, to Jeff Gordon. We finished second, but we got a new paint scheme this weekend with the Farm Bureau insurance car, and we're excited about that, having those guys aboard. And hopefully we can get a win. Anyone who's wondering can see my mom every week just about at the souvenir hauler. She signs more autographs seems like than I do.
Well, that's good for her. And these guys have a little extra incentive tonight with the moms here. Wendy?
Well, thank you, Hermie. We've already spoken to Joey Logano in our show today, but I wanted to talk the more important one, Mom right here. Mom, how proud of you are you of Joey? 18 years old here in these cup races. And welcome. This is our Mother's Day edition. We get to do this every Darlington.
This is unbelievable. This is when it really just all hits me. I mean, this is just, everyone's around us. I mean, the excitement of the fans out here is just awesome.
All right. Joey, you've already talked to us on race day, but have you thought about moving out of the house yet? Maybe that could be your Mother's Day gift.
I get home-cooked meals. I think she wants me to stay home. That's kind of a big deal. She bribes me with home-cooked meals and doing my laundry and everything, so I'm cool with that.
And if you didn't see her reaction, her mouth just dropped open like, no, he can't move out of the house. Let's head over to Hermie Sadler.
Thank you, Wendy. Standing by with Casey Kane, his mom, Tammy, on the scene tonight. Now, we're asking the moms a little something about the sons tonight. Is Casey a good cook at all? Can he cook anything? I know Kale is, but not sure about Casey.
Kale's an awesome cook, and Casey...
Not so much?
Not so much, right.
But he's a pretty good race car driver. Got to give him that.
He's a great driver.
You guys got a little more pressure tonight having moms here, and I know it makes a special atmosphere for everybody anytime you can get your family together.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to have Mom with us this weekend, and to all the mothers out there, it's a great weekend for everybody. But you know, hopefully we run well today. We've been working hard. Everybody at Richard Petty Motorsports is doing a good job. We're just working hard to get to where we need to be, and hopefully today we have a great starting spot. So hopefully that'll pay off.
These guys looking to get to victory lane and taking Mom with them. Wendy?
Thank you, Hermie. I'm with Matt and Katie Kenseth, who Katie technically is celebrating a Mother's Day weekend, one on the way. Congratulations on the nationwide win, Matt, but more importantly, congratulations on your future baby, Katie. Now, tell me the story. You don't know the sex of your baby yet, correct? But your friend does.
Yeah, we're leaving it a surprise. We trusted our good friend Melissa, who knows the sex of the baby, and she's designed the nursery for him or her. And she doesn't trust us, so she locks the doors and she puts towels so we can't peek under and take a look, but we're excited.
Are you looking forward to that day, Matt? You're going to be a daddy. Congratulations on this. Okay, you guys said you had 4 cats, and of course Ross, who's a much older teenager, but man, what a day is coming for you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, Ross is going to be a great babysitter. He's excited to have a little brother or sister, and I really want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. We've all, I know Katie and I have both been blessed with just great families. I want to say happy Mother's Day to her mother and to my mother, too, and wish they could be here. But, yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. We're looking forward to the addition of the family.
All right, one of the most beautiful couples in this Cup Garage. Hermie?
Well, thank you, Wendy. Standing by with champion Kurt Busch and his mom, Gay. Now, tell us how special it is. All the guys got moms backstage, but a little bit more pressure to win tonight. You want to take Mom to victory lane, I'm sure.
That's right. I got to do my job to get Mom tonight on Mother's Day. And I'm glad we get to race Saturday night, because that way we get tomorrow to enjoy with everybody and have you over for some steak and potatoes and good old grill out.
When who's going to do the cooking now? If they're having steaks and taters, you're not going to make Mom do the cooking, eh?
No, it'll be me and my wife Eva, and got to take care of Mom on Mother's Day. You can't take her out to dinner.
Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you. I totally enjoy this. Thank you.
All the moms having a great time. Wendy?
All right, we have lots of moms around here. Tony Stewart's standing by with his mother, Pam, and of course, Carol Bickford. Hi, say hello. Happy Mother's Day to both of you. How cool is it to join your sons here at the racetrack today?
It's fun. It's a great time. It's just time to have, he's standing there just laughing at me.
He does that to all my interviews too, don't worry.
It's good quality time though, and we don't get that very often. So.
Now, Miss Carol Bickford, your son Jeff Gordon right behind you, and of course your grandbaby here. How special of a day is this for you?
Great, it's wonderful, and you know, this is about the only time during the year that I get to see all the other mothers, so that's great too.
All right, happy Mother's Day to both of you. Hermie?
Hey, yeah, thank you, Wendy. Got Jeff Gordon and wife and mom and daughter, everybody here. Jeff, a big night for you.
It is. You know, Darlington's a special place, and it's a special weekend, and you know, my mom played a huge role in my career getting here, so it's always great to have our moms here. And of course, my wife is an amazing mom, and little Ella here, we're enjoying it very much. Thanks.
And your mom had a new cookbook come out recently. Are you much of a cook yourself?
You know, I might grill a little bit every once in a while, but she definitely kept us well fed as a kid, and I'm really proud of her. It's a great book. She's had a lot of fun doing it, and it's going well. The fans seem to enjoy it as well.
We appreciate your time. Good luck.
Thank you.
All
All right, back to you, Wendy.
Okay, Hermie, and I should tell you now, Hermie, to come this way because I want you to join this. Elliot's screaming at me. His mom, Miss Belle Sadler, one of the most beautiful ladies in the garage. Happy Mother's Day. Elliot, it's a great day to have your mom here, isn't it?
It's great. She was just reminding me about potty training. So we've come a long way, and that's what we're talking about. 34 years old on Mother's Day is my potty training deal. That's nice. We've had a great time today, really.
Our show's going to the dumps.
Nicest experiences, right.
All right.
Any way I can get in on this family conversation?
Yes, you can.
It's so good to see you. Thank you for joining us. It's great. Your sons, you get to watch both of them in 2 different ways. Huh?
Yes, I enjoy them both. And I just want to, we're celebrating Mother's Day. If this works.
Y'all take it back. This is not going to be good.
Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
Hey, Wendy, the only thing better than having 2 Sadlers on the program is having 3 Sadlers. A salute to all the mothers coming from Speed TV to you. And reminder, on the other side of this break, you can see Fox's pre-race coverage here on Speed. Thanks to Darlington for having us, and we're looking forward to a great Southern 500. We'll see you in